What's up, everybody? My name's Tyler. You're watching Mom's Basement MMA. My next guest joins me ahead of his upcoming bout in London. That'll be at Cage Warriors 180. We'll be going up against Tobias Harila. That happens on November 15th. Adam Cullen is on the program today. Adam, welcome back. It's been a couple years since you've been on The People's Show.
Yeah, man, it's been a minute, hasn't it? But it's good to be back on, Tyler. The show's been taken off, hasn't it, since the last time I've been on there, so I'm happy to be back.
Well, happy to have you back. You were recently in the USA not that long ago. You were in Vegas and you cornered your teammate Nathan Fletcher. Tell me about your time here in America. What did you think about our country, and what did you do before the fight? Because it looked like you were doing a bunch of cool things.
Lads, America's fucking nuts, isn't it? Proper crazy place. If you're not from America, you'd understand. But yeah, man, it's crazy. But I properly enjoyed it. We had a good time. Stressful at times. Obviously, I thought we were going to be there for 5 days. Ended up being there for 3 weeks. I came to watch Nathan originally make his UFC debut, and then his fight fell through. I mean, about 20 minutes before he was due to fight, and then ended up staying for 3 weeks and cornering him in the end. Got to go to the PI, super sick experience. Got to train with Diego Lopez and his boys in his training facility in Las Vegas. And overall, it was a cool experience, really cool experience. Some good eye openers for me going forward, and made me just realise at the end of the day the UFC and all that is within touching distance for me. I'm at that level, and it's only a matter of time that I'll be there and making the splash like Nathan did.
Absolutely. Well, I did want to ask you a little bit. Cornering Nathan, you go into the Apex, going up against a tough opponent. And I looked at that fight and I was thinking to myself, like, okay, I know what Nathan Fletcher can do. He's a great grappler. He's going to get this fight down the ground, and I think he's going to choke this kid out. And basically, that's what ended up happening. When you looked at that fight, like, did you see the same outlook that I did? Did you kind of feel this fight was going to go exactly that way, or did you have a different opinion?
No, absolutely. I've got hours and hours of footage on my phone of me and Nathan training the PI. We were filming everything and sending it back to our coaches. And I've probably got 10 situations where Nathan done that exact same thing to me in training. Like we just planned for that. We knew that was the way the fight was going to go. He was going to be strong at the start. He was going to throw big bombs, really try and take his head off. And when you get him down to the ground, he was going to be explosive, try and pop straight back up. And but we knew he'd wilt, and we knew skill for skill, Nathan's grappling, Nathan's MMA ground game was going to be levels above the kid. So to be honest, I thought it was going to be a first round choke, but it wasn't. It was the second in the end. But I think it just proved the game plan was right, even more so because Gigamantis, he come out, he slowed down the second round. Nathan got to work, and then as soon as he landed in that mount, we knew it was over. He locked that choke up, and it was all she wrote. So yeah, it was no surprise really. It was just one of them things that like the rest of us lads in Next Gen. Once you got the opportunity, you knew it was going to happen. But it was the toughest thing was getting there.
I mean, for him, like, what a powerful moment. Like, that's a fight that was like a lifetime in the making. I can't, like, the amount of, like, the thousands of hours in the training room, all the sacrifice, all the dedication. Then for him to get that victory over a hard fought opponent, like, did you guys do anything cool to celebrate the win?
And lads, we just wanted to get home. We've been in Vegas for too long. I mean, me and him had been there for 3 weeks from that point. I remember getting in. We both got in the transport back to the UFC hotel after the fight, and both of us was like, "Fucking get us home, lads." Not asked about sinking or go with anything. Just get me on that plane. And yeah, it was good. It was just we were just so happy for the win. Do you know what I mean? Like we didn't give a fuck. He could have just flown me straight home from that arena. I wasn't asked. I was just so happy. Like me and Nathan have trained together for 11 years now. So for me, that was the highlight of my career so far. Watching Nathan do that, it really was. It was just so good. It was like the perfect storm. All the shit he's been through for the past 2 years. I mean, you're probably best getting him on to talk about all of that. But like he's had some fucking serious trials and tribulations over the past 2 years, and to see him get it all done on that big stage when it mattered, it was just like It was so good to watch.
Well, if you're watching the program right now, Nathan, congratulations to you. A well-deserved victory. Let's bring it closer to you, Adam. Cage Warriors 175. You went up against Samuel Blasco, and you ended up taking care of business. You ended up getting a finish in that fight. What do you remember about fighting Blasco? Was he like the dude? Like, did the fighter that you were planning for on fight night, did he show up, or did you get a different version of this guy that you maybe weren't expecting?
No, like one of my teammates has fought Samuel Blasco before. Obviously, I wasn't originally meant to fight Blasco. I was meant to fight another guy, and typical fucking fashion, he pulled out and shit his undies with 2 weeks to go. So on about 8 days' notice, I got Blasco, and it's at that point, isn't it? It's like you take this fight or you don't have anyone. And I remember seeing Blasco get offered to me, and I'm a bit of an MMA nerd, me lads. I know everyone, and I seen his name. It was one of them where you're just like, for fuck's sake, because you know how tough he is, and you're in a bit of a lose-lose situation. His record's not the best, so like, if you don't win, people are like, oh, he's fucking shit, he couldn't beat him. But anyone who actually knows MMA and watches that guy, he is a twat of a fight, because he is so tough and like so hard to put away. And to be honest, he's one of them guys that always goes round and takes tough fights. And he's taken a few fights on like, guys' home shows, so to speak, and lost a few decisions that, like, if you actually go back and watch them fights, if you're judging fairly, he didn't lose them fights. So his record doesn't reflect how much of a problem he is. And one of my teammates actually fought him before. And speaking to him about it, the one thing you have to say is, fuck me, man, he's strong and he is tough. So we're prepared for that, for what I could, for obviously mentally, because there's no physical preparation left with 8 days to go. And laddie was fucking tough, man. My shins were fucked for 6 weeks after the fight from kicking him. Like, he didn't even block a single kick, lad, but like, my shins were fucked. The guy was made of fucking iron. It was crazy. Like, I swear to God, I've said this a million times, but I knocked him out twice. I knocked him out in the fight, and he woke up instantly. The first time in the second round, I hit him with a right hand, and he fell back into the cage. And I swear to God, his eyes rolled into the back of his head. It was done. And he hit the cage and woke straight back up. It was fucking bizarre. Like, but woke up like nothing had happened, lad. Like, it was the maddest thing I've ever seen. So then I was on him like, trying to fucking put him away. And the kid just doesn't move. He hit him with everything. He doesn't move. Then I took him down, same round, and he hit him with the cleanest right hand I've ever landed in ground and pound. Bang, right on his shin. Like, anyone who fights will know, when you land like a knockout punch, it feels like you're punching air. And it was that. Boom, straight to his shin, right hand. Same thing, lad. His eyes rolled into the back of his head, and he went stiff for like half a second less, and then went boop and zapped back into it. And it's just like, you're like, what the fuck have I got to hit you with? Remember going back to my corner, and my coach is going, lad, you're not gonna knock him out. Just like, do something else. And we're like, lad, what do you want me to do? We won't go to sleep. But fuck me, yeah, like, tough is an understatement, because I hit him with everything. I think someone counted that I landed something like 200 headshots on the kid, and like, realistically, I got the TKO, but after the fight, I didn't even have a fucking mark on him. Crazy. But
Well, going into that fight, I looked at Cage Warriors 175, and this is me. This is just my prediction, not speaking for you. I looked at it and I was like, okay, this will probably be early-ish. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because he's got a ton of experience. I was like, second round finish, club and sub is what's going to end up happening. And then it ends up going into the third. You get the finish in the third.
yeah,
What was it that you did? What was it that you hit him with where you ended up getting the finish in the third? Can you walk me through how you got it?
it was just relentless, lad. Like, I just remember being relentless. Um, we got into that third round, and it was like a bit of a tough one where, like, obviously I was so far ahead, I was clearly winning the fight, and like, he's a guy that's like super powerful. Like, he's a crazy athlete. Like, looking at him, he probably could have done any sport he wanted to, because he was so explosive, and you felt him, he was so strong. Where, like, in that third round, he wasn't really doing anything. He was just waiting. So, like, he stood there with his hands down. He does a lot of weird things that, like, unless you'd watched a lot of him, you wouldn't know what he's doing. So, like, he stands with his hands down, and everyone thinks, oh, we just hit him in the head. But he wants you to try and hit him in the head, because he's going to try and just swing for the fences and knock you out. But then the hands down also stops you shooting for a takedown, because when you shoot for a takedown, he wraps your neck. And my mate Eric De Silva, who fought him, is a fucking like a 3-degree black belt in lucha libre and a black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And he said when he wrapped my neck, it was like, oh shit, like he's strong. So like I know if he's nearly guillotining Eric, he's got a fucking heavy guillotine. So we're in that weird like zone in round 3, but it's like he's just waiting for me here to try and one bomb me, but he's also waiting for me to shoot so we can try and rip my neck off. But it's also like I'm so far ahead that like don't take any risks. And there was like booing and that from the crowd, and I was like, "You cheeky cunts! I've just fucking blathered them for 10 minutes. You can't be booing me now." Do you know what I mean? But yeah, so it just took me time. The third round, the takedown presented itself after a couple of minutes, and when I took them out and I just got on him and just thought, lad, I'm not letting you get out of this. I'm just gonna make the referee stop it. And after about 25 unanswered elbows, eventually the referee decided to stop it. You know what I mean? In my opinion, you probably could have stopped it a bit earlier. Like in the second round, there was plenty of chances, but he wasn't getting back into the fight. But it is what it is. It was good experience to go 3-0. That I've still got finishing power in round 3, and it's all just good experience. But I think Ian Dean, even after the fight, said to me like, it's a big notch in your belt, even finishing a guy like Blasco, because he's so super tough. He doesn't get finished. So that was a big achievement for me, really. I'm proving to myself that, like, obviously all my wins have been in the first round, proving to myself that I've got finishing power in round 3. That's like a big thing for me to take away from the fight. So I was happy overall.
Well, congratulations, sir. It was a important victory. It was your 8th professional MMA victory. Now we have another tough opponent, Cage Warriors 180. You'll be going up against a man that doesn't need much of an introduction in Europe, Tobias Harila. We know what that kid's about. Tough, nasty dude who comes forward and he wants to take your head off. We all know how it is that he likes to fight, but I got to be honest, I was very, very surprised at this matchup because he's a featherweight. Now he's coming up to lightweight to fight you. Can you tell me, Adam, like, were you surprised when you got his name on the contract offer?
Not really, no, because there was a few whisperings of Tobias asking to fight George Hardwick for the title a few months ago. So from that, I gathered that maybe he's going up to lightweight. I think his last fight on FCR was it Fight Club Rush in Sweden. I think that was a lightweight fight, so wasn't too surprised. And he's a game kid, do you know what I mean? I've watched Tobias for a long time. So when I got offered him, it was like, yeah, like I like that. I like someone who's going to come and bring it like I do. Like we're both entertainers, we're both finishers, and so yeah, I wasn't surprised. I mean, I like Tobias. He's a cool guy. I like watching him fight, but we both know that this is business, and I'm going in there to hurt him. Do I think Tobias is anywhere near as good as me? No, I really don't. I've got respect for him. He's a good fighter. He's got finishes, got knockouts. He's entertaining, but I'm different gravy, and I do think that I'm going to stop Tobias, but that's just the way it is.
Well, when I think of you like going up against Tobias, like you're the much larger man. I'm also going to venture to guess that you're the much more physical man, the more stronger man. And do you feel like those attributes are going to give you a huge advantage over him during the course of this fight?
I think they could do. I mean, obviously Tobias has fought at featherweight, I've fought at welterweight. Like it's quite a big difference, but at the end of the day, it's a lightweight fight. Um, yeah, them things will always come into play. I've always felt strong in there. No matter who I've fought at lightweight, I've felt strong. So the fact that it's coming up, I don't know. It could be a factor. And I think it's going to be a factor, but either way, it doesn't really matter because we're going to stand in the middle and we're going to fucking have it. And he's going to try and take my chin off, and I'm going to take his chin off. So whatever happens, happens. You know what I mean? In terms of who's stronger, who's bigger, or whatever. It's going to be a war, and it's going to be one to watch. But I guarantee that no matter what happens, I'm coming up there with a win.
When I think of you, I know you're a mixed martial artist, but I have to say, I think of grappling, I think of submissions, I think of ground fighting, and like when you look into this matchup versus Harila, if I were you, I'd be like, I'm gonna take this guy down on the ground. I'm gonna bring him into my world, and I'm not gonna ask you about your game plan, Adam, but I will say, like, to me, that would seem like a most logical pathway to victory. Get this fight down to the ground, elbow him up, and then go for like a arm triangle or guillotine or whatever presents itself. Your thoughts on something like that?
No, I think we both bring entertainment. Do you know what I mean? I obviously am a bit more well rounded than Tobias, but I like to stand and bang on the feet, and I think I've got a point to prove where people think that I can't do that with him. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stand there and I'm going to take his chin off. Cage Warriors have made this fight because they want to see a war, so we'll give people a war. Do you know what I mean? Like paths to victory and all that shit. Like I'm here to win, and I'm better than Tobias on the feet, and I'll show that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, November 15th is this fight right here is one of the most anticipated fights that I want to watch before year's end. Adam, I'm really looking forward to this. And I want to actually give you the final word. If there are any sponsors you need to shout out or any people out there that you'd like to thank before I let you go, let's do it.
Yeah, obviously shout out to my main sponsors, McGregor Murta, Cypher IO, Grail Pulls, the Macro Chef, all my coaches at Next Gen and Vortex Combat Sports, strength and conditioning, and everyone watching. Make sure you tune in. 15th of November if you're from the UK. Get yourself down to the O2 Indigo because it's going to be a fucking electric fight. It's obviously a fucking great card. Liam Gittins is defending his title in the main event, but I think I'm going to steal the show. And Tobias is a finisher. I'm a finisher. And we're going to fucking meet in the middle and go to war. But I guarantee that I'm going to take his head off and add his name to my hit list on the 15th of November. So don't miss out.
Don't miss out, indeed. And if you aren't in the UK, you can watch it anywhere in the world on UFC Fight Pass. So make sure you do that. Adam, I appreciate your time, sir. I wish you the best of skill, and I look forward to watching the fight here in a few weeks.
Thanks, Tyler. Thanks for having me on again, man.